Hello, BookTube. I had another early morning appointment. It's going to be a familiar story. I had another early morning appointment near downtown Boston, and as I've said on this channel many times, and as I advocate to you, when I have something unpleasant, this was an unpleasant appointment, when I have something unpleasant that I have to do, I like to compensate, if I can, by giving myself a little indulgence. And so I did. I went to the Brattle Bookshop again. Now, those of you who are new to the channel, the Brattle Bookshop is a used bookstore in the heart of downtown Boston. And they have 3 stories of great books, jam-packed. Not a rabbit warren, not an unfindable mess like some used bookstores that you've seen, but jam-packed, every shelf. And all reasonably priced. The first 2 floors are every book section you can think of. Biography, history, and a huge wall of fiction, science fiction, mystery, everything. Local, art, all of it. And then the 3rd floor is antiques and collectibles, something that verges more towards collected first editions, that sort of thing. In case you're going to the Brattle looking for something precious to give somebody as an item. I've almost never been up on the 3rd floor. I don't bother to go up there. The first 2 floors contain treasures aplenty. And in addition to all that, that is great enough because this is not a static bookstore. The front, as soon as you walk in the door, you see the buying table. It's right out in front and center of the Brattle, and they are constantly on the road buying, constantly, and people are constantly bringing stuff in. So the turnaround on those first 2 floors of just ordinary subjects is incredible, just incredible. Something new literally every day, which was certainly never the case with ordinary used bookstores that I knew and loved in Iowa and Texas and Indiana and everywhere else. But in addition to all of that, that would already make the Brattle a great used bookstore. But in addition to that, they have the lot next door. They own the lot next door where otherwise another building would go. And they fill it with bargain books. Carts of $1, $3, and $5 bargain books. On no organization, no sorting whatsoever. So you don't ever know what's going to be out in the sale lot. And it's paradise. It really is. They don't put junk out there. Some of it can become junk over time, being pawed by people and being caught in the elements. If it takes a while to get all those cards under cover and inside, if it starts to rain. But they don't put junk out there. They put stuff out there that is duplicated on the inside or that they don't think will go on the inside, will sell very quickly on the inside. But you can find wonders out there in the Brattle sale lot. You can fill your arm with books and not even worry about the price, which is incredible. And I went there today. I didn't so much shop inside. I mainly just shopped outside. It's fairly temperate today, so it wasn't painful. And I got a bunch of books. Now, one of the books is a gift for one of you, so I don't want to show it on camera. I couldn't pass it up. I saw it and thought, okay, it's a trifle, but it's a trifle that will bring a smile to somebody's face, I bet. So instead of that, I just have 4 books that I want to show you, but they're all from me, and they're all wonderful, and they're all biographies. And the first one is a writer that I have mentioned on this channel before. I have a personal and treasured history with this writer. His name is Samuel Eliot Morrison. He is, in my opinion, one of the greatest historians who's ever come out of America. A naval historian mostly. And he did a biography. He did a small handful of biographies, but he did one of John Paul Jones. And I found it today in this edition, in a Time Life Books edition. Now, we've seen Time Life Books on this channel before, and I've seen them mentioned on a few other channels as well. One booktuber made a point that was absolutely true, which is that the paperbacks of these Time Life books, some of them, become so stiff and brittle with age that you have to break them to read them. You have to snap them into 1,000 pieces to read them. That is absolutely true for most of them. So those old, I wish I had some here to show you. I think I have a couple here in the house. Those old Time Life book trade paperbacks, they had stiff cardboard for covers. And so they don't age well at all. They were felt extra durable and kind of classy back 70 years ago when they came out, but now you find them at a used bookstore, try and open it, it'll crack right there, and you'll owe the proprietor at the table $1. But the side effect of those terrible, terrible old trade paperbacks were these hardcovers, which are rock solid. These are rock solid. These will not break apart on you. They're and the problem with them aesthetically, if you want to call it that, is that they all look like this. They didn't come with dust jackets. They were meant to be just one whole shelf of things looking exactly like this. So there are dozens and dozens of them. And this is the see, it's very unadorned. This is John Paul Jones by Samuel Eliot Morrison, a sailor's biography. And I have read this I don't know how many times, but I don't have a copy. Every time I get it, I give it away. I don't think anybody's going to want this version. So I want to keep it anyway because I want to reread it. I haven't reread quite a bit of Samuel Eliot Morrison in quite a long time, and I haven't read this in a long time. So I grabbed it. It was dirt cheap, so why not? And then the next book is something I think I mentioned in connection with the Brattle once, that I saw a John Quincy Adams biography that I hadn't read, big fat thing that I hadn't read. And I think I mentioned to you last time when I saw it that I didn't get it because it was already in, the dust jacket was already in such rough shape. That does happen at the Brattle sale lot. They're not protected books in any way, so you can get something in ratty shape. And when I saw this originally, I thought, okay, well, that's too much trouble to fix. That dust jacket is too much trouble to repair. And I thought about it because I'm interested to know what this author has to say. John Quincy Adams is one of my favorite American presidents, one of my favorite figures in American history. I have a lot of biographies of him. I've read a lot of biographies of him, and I didn't know that this one even existed. So when I was back at the Brattle today and I saw this book, and it's still in rough shape, and it occurred to me that looking at it and saying, well, I'd love to read it, but it would take a little work to save, so I'm not going to do it, is a very Protestant kind of thing to say now, isn't it? So I grabbed it. What do I care if it takes a lot of work to fix? I'll fix it. I'll make it absolutely pristine. So this is what I mean. This is by Marie Hecht, and this is John Quincy Adams, A Personal History of an Independent Man. And the subtitle says, A New Biography of One of America's Least Known Presidents. I don't think that's true anymore. John Quincy Adams has had quite a few biographies, but you can see this is in rough shape. And I'm going to fix it. I'm going to fix it completely. I'm going to make it. The book itself, the actual hardcover underneath this dust jacket, is not in rough shape. So this is a nice, big, thick biography of John Quincy Adams. Why am I going to deny myself that pleasure? Just because it's going to take a little bit of creativity to get this back ship shape. I can do that. It'll be worth it. I'll read it right away. I'm not getting to say I'll read it right away with my mail hauls, so I might as well say it with my Brattle books. And then the last two books that I want to show you are a pair. They are the find of the day. They are the find of the month. They thrilled me. Absolutely thrilled me. Last time I made a Brattle video, I showed you Julia Cartwright's 2-volume biography of Isabella d'Este. And I told you the story behind it, that I wrote a long historical novel, 1515, in which Isabella d'Este was one of my main characters. I had 10 main characters, and she was one of them. And each main character had their ongoing chapter threads. So each section of the book was 10 chapters, and each chapter was one person from their point of view in their world with all of their details. And I wanted every one of those details to be as accurate as I could make them. Some of them were easier than others to do. Some of them I already knew all the details, but Isabella d'Este I did not. So I read Julia Cartwright's 2-volume biography of Isabella d'Este until my 2 volumes fell apart. It came out in 1902 or something like that, and it was just amazing. It's just amazingly done. It's eloquently written, and it's fiercely researched. I just loved it. I absolutely loved it, and I pretty much took it as my Bible for Isabella d'Este, except for the creative liberties that I wanted to take with her anyway. I wanted to take some liberties with her anyway. But when it came to everything factual, I just relied on Julia Cartwright. I just didn't bother to. There weren't any other Isabella d'Este books for me to look at, so I just relied on her. And the other day, I found those 2 copies, that 2-volume biography of Isabella d'Este, and was thrilled because I'm not researching a book now, so I can just read these things like a normal person. I won't constantly be pulling them off the shelf and opening them and holding them open. In other words, these 2 will survive. I can keep them in my library. But today, today I found this. It's Julia Cartwright again. This is a 2-volume biography of Baldassare Castiglione, the author of The Courtier, the Book of the Courtier. This is 1,000 pages at least. What is this? This is 1,000 pages at least about Baldassare Castiglione. I know about Castiglione only what I have read in introductions to the many editions of the Book of the Courtier that I've read over the years. I've never read a biography of the man, and I didn't know that Julia Cartwright had even written one. I know that sounds very boring, but nevertheless, this is a source of pure joy to me. I know that I like this author, and I know that I can trust a lot of what she does with her original sources. And, like Isabella d'Este, Castiglione has not had a bumper crop of biographies, I'd be willing to bet, but he's had none since that are anything comparable to this. So talk about read right away. Yeah, we'll read it right away. This was a joy to me to do. It's going to be a joy to put these on the shelf in the biography section. So I will put I'm going to rearrange my biographies, and all of the American lives are going to go together. That's where John Paul Jones will be. All of the presidential lives are going to go together, and they're going to be in roughly chronological order, and I want a lot more of them. So that's where John Quincy Adams will go once I make him shipshape. And the Italian Renaissance is also going to have its own section that I also want to be bigger. And Baldassare Castiglione will go right there. That's incredible. So there you go. That was my Brattle trip on the Monday before Christmas here in Boston. It was a great time. I don't think I'll be back to the Brattle in the rest of the year. Could be. If I do, I'll take you with me. But I wanted to show you that because it was so much fun. I didn't get many books. There's only one other that I can't show you. I didn't get many books, but they were all home runs. I don't plan on getting rid of any of these. That's the dream at the Brattle. That's the ideal thing, is that you get books that you're going to keep. But this was $4. The whole thing cost $4, so can't beat that. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this up, but I'll be back. Thank you, BookTube.